and good evening. Tonight on The Art of Film, we're going to be talking about the 1948 film by Vittorio De Sica, The Bicycle Thieves. This film is hailed as one of the best films of all time, so that's what we're going to talk about. Because here on this channel, me as your host, Andres Jose, we talk about film, we talk about cinema, and I want to talk to you about Bicycle Thieves. 1948, this is 10 years before Federico Fellini. This is the neorealist. This is the neorealist film. This is the film that everyone goes to. It's got neorealism three ways. Lo-fi, not professional actors, but like men on the street, and talking about political and socio situations and realism of the day, commentary of the social plight of the world. And Vittorio De Sica does something so extraordinary. It is a film post-war Rome, heartbreak. You feel the heartbreak. The tone of this is drama. It is serious. It is about the class struggle, the struggle of life and death of a family, all because of a freaking bicycle that gets stolen that he needs for a job. The tone is serious. There is no levity. It's not like we talked about Seventh Seal before, how Ingmar Bergman sprinkled in some moments of levity, some comedic moments. There is none of that in Bicycle Thieves. Bicycle Thieves is hardcore. It is not Lars von Trier sadness, but it is heartbreaking to see a father go through this chase, this mystery of finding the thief to get his bike, and what he has to go through in a moral perspective, and his moral compass might change because of the literal struggle. So the tone is just heartfelt. It's sincere. It is real. He's making a statement about that situation in post-war Rome, which was not pretty, as you can imagine, after World War II. So the log line is basically the main character, Antonio Ricci, gets his bike stolen. There you go. His bike is stolen. He goes on the hunt to find the bike. And through that, we see different facets of poverty. We see different facets of the world around him, and what he ultimately does or attempts to do at the end of the film. And this is really the epitome of that classic foreign film. When we talk about foreign films, we talk about black and white films, from the 30s, 40s, 50s. Bicycle Thieves is what people hail as one of the best movies ever. It is, and it's because of that tenderness of a father and a son, and the son character's name is Bruno. The acting, the sweet acting that he's doing. He's not an actor, nor is Antonio Ricci. He's not an actor either. They're just people that the director found or got somehow and used for the film, and it is really good. It is just brilliant. Why don't we go ahead and talk a little bit about, we've talked about the theme. We know it's sad. This is about what people will do to live, what they do to survive, and how everyone is in the same struggle. And their struggle makes them hunker down. It makes them ignore, don't get in other people's business. If there's a crime being committed, I'm not getting involved. I got to worry about me and mine. I got to provide for me. And so the friendliness, we're all in it together spirit is not here. It is primal survival mode for these people. And we see that. And in that way, it's really good. It's just kind of, it's very real, right? Because this is a bit of a plot heavy, I'm actually going to go through the plot here and talk a little bit about this. Basically, it starts with this character, Antonio, who needs a bicycle for a job. To get this position, he needs a bike. So they sell their sheets, their bed sheets. They sell them to get his bike out of hock. It was pawned. He gets his bike back. Now with his bike, he can provide for his family. This is the key. It's not because he likes bike. This bike is his mode of transportation, and it is key. It is necessary to get a job. The job being posters on the wall. And it's at that moment when he begins the job that he gets stolen. He sees the thief for a split moment. He runs after him, but in the busy area, and the name of the area or the street's called Florida, and he gets lost in the hustle and the bustle. And he loses his bike, and he's devastated because how is he going to provide for his family? They are destitute. They need this job. And they bring in the music. The music swells, and there's a sadness to this whole freaking thing. So it's this quest to find the bike. He has a little boy, Bruno, who's probably around 6. And they go looking for the bike. They go to the market, and we get shots of bike parts everywhere. Because what's going to happen is the thief is going to break it apart, like a chop shop style, break it apart and sell it for parts, so you'll never be able to find the complete bike. He goes to the police, fills a report. They don't do anything. They say, well, maybe it'll be in the market the next day. He goes to the market. We see tons of frames and of crankshafts and of chain rings and bells, and I mean, you're never going to find it. He accuses someone to see the frame as he's painting it. Doesn't work out. Doesn't find it. He's overwhelmed. He's like, I'm not going to find this piece. He's hunting down the potential thief. Doesn't find them, and they're in the rain. They find a man who might have some information. They follow him to Mass. We see Mass, the Catholic Mass. He's following him. He's trying to get information. Like, where do you know where this guy lives? Where do you know the thief? And he's like, well, I think he's on Calle Real número 25 or whatever, right? And so he's like, you're going to come with me. We're going to go there together to go find this thief, and then the old man escapes, and he's chasing him. And there's these moments, there's this, and the actor is so good. The actor who does this, his face, his figure, his posture is brilliant. And kind of in this moment where it just, of total frustration, of losing the bike, of losing the man who potentially had information on where this thief is to get the bike back, loses him, and he slaps his boy, slaps the son, Bruno, and your heart breaks. Your heart breaks to see this poor boy hit, and this father just immediately repenting for it, but just feel, and they kind of like bicker back and forth a bit. And then there's this potential threat of the boy drown. Like he hears somebody's drowning, and then he was worried that his son, it wasn't his son. And he's like, oh, so grateful that the boy's alive after what just happened. And it's in this kind of darkest hour moment, around the midway, a little after that, 2/3 away, when he's just like, he's full of despair. He's not going to get the bike. He's going to lose his job. They're doomed. They're doomed. So what people do when they're doomed, they lose it, and he just goes to a restaurant, and they're going to live like kings, and they're going to spend what little money he has left. Him and Bruno, they're going to go. Now, they can't order pizza. They can't order spaghetti. They have to have a little mousse ball and some bread, a little mozzarella cheese sandwich. That's all they can afford. but they eat this and they have wine. And he's like, it's over. It's over. When it's over, this is what we got to do. And the music is playing and everyone's joyful. And it's this such a great scene of the joy of the wonderful Italian spirit and moment with this incredible sadness, knowing that they are broke, knowing that he is spending his last freaking denari or lira or whatever on this, and it's like heartbreaking. And they see in the corner of their eye this family that's well-to-do, that's eating gaily, with joy and gusto and everything. And it's heartbreaking to see it. I mean, this film tugs at your heart in these moments. And if you've ever been broke-ass, this movie, you'll feel it. You'll be like, yeah, I had to go to the pawn shop. I went on eBay. I sold my whatever, This will get you there. Yeah, it's wonderful. He goes to this like fortune teller, which in the beginning he went to with his wife, not believer, but he goes now. He's like, I gotta know what to do. He's willing to go. He's willing to figure anything. He'll do whatever it takes to find it. Well, he actually does come across the thief. He comes across the thief, who's just a teenager himself, and follows him into the thief's neighborhood. This is where we get the Bicycle Thieves element. These little crooks and crannies of your Rome, and kind of cul-de-sac and these big buildings, apartments and such. And he's now surrounded by the thieves, all this neighborhood, this whole neighborhood that all supports the thief, saying, hey, thief didn't do this. What are you talking about? He doesn't have a bike. And his mom's like, he's got a clean record. Nothing happened to him. My boy, he's got a clean record, And the father's like grabbing him by the he's like, you're going with me to the cops. We're getting my bike back. And the kid's like, I didn't have your bike. I never had it. I was in the market. I didn't, And then the kid has this epileptic fit, which I think is fake. I think we're supposed to think it's fake. But he does a good job of it. So he's like convulsing, falls on the ground. Everyone's like, what are you doing to him? Bruno, who's smart, runs, gets the cops, brings a cop over to kind of like protect his father, knowing that his father's about to get beat up. And they look for evidence in the thief's home. There's no bicycle. The mother was disdained. Everybody hates this guy. Everyone. How dare? Because they're all broke too, right? There's a couple that are dressed nice. You wonder what they've got going. So maybe not everyone's broke, but definitely the thief's family, they're broke, just like them. So it's that deal of like, hey, we're doing the best we can. What are you doing over there coming into our neighborhood? He leaves, doesn't press any kind of, he can't press charges because it's he said versus he said, and so that's not going to work. He leaves the neighborhood. They're all, mashugana, whatever. Wouldn't be mashugana, but, whatever Italian term is. And he walks off, and now we're towards the end of the film. And there's a big, like in the Coliseum or one of the stadiums, there's some games going on. And there's rows of bikes. And then there's one little bike off on a little corner, another side street by itself. And we see him deliberate. We see him just struggle and struggle and struggle. He's about to steal this bike. His son's there. There's nothing to do. He's going to steal this bike. And we see him pacing. And and you're thinking like, no, don't do it. But at the same time, you're like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? People in today's society have done much worse to provide for the family. And that's what you wind up doing. You get forced into these moments of morality and ethics and integrity when it's like, hey, the answer is you got to do what you got to do. He grabs the bike. He starts to take off. The owner finds him, catches him. Thief, thief. There's a whole mob chasing him. Now, Antonio Ricci is the bicycle thief himself. Speeds down the road. His son sees him, heartbroken. His son sees his father stealing a bike and this mob following him. Well, this mob catches him, grabs him, and they're going to throw his butt in jail. And the boy, Bruno, no, Daddy, don't do it, And the owner of the bike has compassion, sees the father and son, and says, no, let him go. And everyone's like, you're lucky. I would throw you in jail. And the owner of the bike lets him go. That was a brilliant moment of compassion. And then you see the father and the son holding hands, walking the crowd, and you just feel heartbroken that this man, there's no ending to this. There's no happy ending. There's no I get a bike. It is, we're broke. We lost the bike. We don't have a bike. We don't have a job. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. And I lost my integrity. And I lost, the gleam in my son's eye, who now sees me as a criminal, perhaps, as a fallen man. I feel that way myself, and that's how it ends. It is stark. It is dark. There's no Hollywood. This is before there's no magical Deus Ex Machina bicycle shows up somewhere. That is reality, and that's what the director was doing. That's this whole neorealism, movement was showing life, and almost in this documentary type of way, telling story. And for that reason, it's brilliant. Using real people, the locations, everything. It's beautiful. It's very good. It deserves the accolades it's given, and that's why I'm talking about it here with you guys here on the Art of Film. So that's my take. My take is great movie. Deserves to be in the Pantheon. It's one you should own. It is a classic in every way, and it's heartbreaking. If you want something happy and light, this isn't it. That is the end of this episode. I just want to share this with you. Thank you guys all for watching. Appreciate it. Subscribe if you'd like to watch more of these videos. I'll be doing them once a week, maybe more every now and then. The next episode we're going to do is Alfred Hitchcock. Give you a little preview here. We're going to do 39 steps. We're not doing Psycho right now. We're not doing Rear Window. We're not doing Vertigo. All those that everyone loves, that I love too, like Rope. We're not doing none of those. Lifeboat. We're doing 39 steps. It's even before this. It's 1935, maybe? 1935? It is even older. But it's brilliant. A little spy thriller. And we'll do that. And then I think we're going to jump up and do a couple color films. So we might jump in the 70s or 80s for a little bit, and then we'll jump back. We can't always do black and white foreign films because people will freak out. But we're doing what I like, so we'll see. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great evening, morning, lunch, or dinner, whatever time zone you're at right now, whatever time of the day you're at. Appreciate it, and enjoy some films out there, and have a good one.